evening. My name is Alexandra Cardenas, and this is my reflection and analysis. So, my first prompt is, why is it important for leaders to seek employee feedback? So, it's important for employers to receive feedback because it gives insight as to what is being done. It identifies problems that leaders can't see. So, it gives them the ground level insight. So, employees will give the feedback to either each other or a higher up to let them know whether or not this was a clear project or there were clear instructions. And then the feedback received from employers to managers can be, or managers to employees can be, um, the instructions were well written. I think you did a very good job on the project. Here's where you can improve. It can build trust within the organization, so it strengthens the relationship. It increases the engagement, so it makes employees more committed to the workplace when they feel that their voices and their opinions matter, especially when giving that feedback or receiving that feedback. It encourages the improvement and the continuous improvement and room for improvement. So it gives them the ideas of what is working, where it can be improved, and what needs a little bit of tweaking for the next one, or if it's a rough draft, where the tweaking can be placed to make the final draft more proficient and more effective. It also it gives a sense of perspective. So leaders, they feel more superior in a way, but with the feedback, it aligns their viewpoint. So, sorry. So the leaders can get into the mindset of the employees and feel the actual experiences, and they can get the firsthand experiences and not make assumptions based on what they see. So they can actually recognize the strength and success from the ground level. They can witness what employees value and what leadership or types of leadership is increasing success and what types are decreasing drive and morale within the company. The second prompt, what should leaders do with the feedback? So they should look for repetition in the concerns, repeated suggestions or common suggestions, whether they're verbatim or whether they're similar wording in a way, so they can find the actual issues with the like suggestions rather than taking each little complaint and making decisions based on them. So they can act on the feedback that they get. So when they receive the feedback, they should immediately look into it and start making changes where it seems fit, so they can adjust the policies, sorry. They can adjust the policies. They can provide the training, and then they can also improve the communication process by, if it's a certain situation where they feel there's less communication, they can improve the communication. They can give clearer instructions. They can provide more insight as to what is expected of them. And then once they look at the feedback and they consider what needs to be done, they can communicate it back to the employees and let them know the feedback was heard. I'm making changes to certain things. Some things will just be tweaking a little bit. And then they can explain what exactly is being changed. And then they can communicate the why, whether they pull in the feedback that they receive or they're going based off of personal experience. So they can also use it for continuing development. So they can do coaching and they can do the training additionally. They can improve their leadership styles to fit what works better for the company as a whole rather than what is working personally. So the fourth, actually, no, because when they use the feedback for the continuing development, they can also enhance the culture. So they can increase the collaboration with each other, they can create less hostility and more communication, which then improves the collaboration within the team, where they don't feel as though they have to limit their ideas, they have to limit their creativity. And it can help with positive contributions to the team so they can celebrate the little wins if they feel, if the employees feel that there isn't enough pride or morale within the environment, leaders can take that feedback and they can actually offer praise, whether it's a that was a really good job, you did amazing on this, we'll put you on future projects, or it can be rewards such as bonuses or promotions, depending on the circumstances. But when doing little things like that, promotions are big, but if you just celebrate the little wins and the little goals that were met, it can actually increase performance and it can make employees feel more prideful and more joyful in what they do, which produces higher quality work. So now on to the third topic. So why is it necessary for employees to understand how and why company change is taking place? Um, for an employee standpoint, it's harder to understand why changes need to be made, especially on a managerial level. But if they feel that their job is at risk, or if they don't have a sense of security with their job or their promotion or their bonuses, they can become very anxious and very nervous about their job. So, employees understanding why these changes need to be made, it reduces that anxiety because they know why it's changing, what exactly is changed, or what is being changed, what is changing, why it's being changed, and then how it immediately affects them or how it will affect them in the long run. If it's a policy change, it can be immediately explained, and then they can give examples on how they will put it into action or how it will better improve them as a whole, and also how it could potentially improve them individually. There's an increase in support when they understand the changes. If they know the reason behind it, they're more likely to back it up or give their support and open mindedness to it so they can improve. I mean, for example, they can improve like customer satisfaction, but it can also reduce the workload for them if they're able to stay competitive and stay committed to the change. It can actually reduce the workload because they don't feel that they have to work as hard or work as much. They have to work hard, but they don't have to work 10 times harder than they already do if they feel their job is safe and that they're safe in the company. It can definitely build trust when they understand it because management took the time to pull them aside and tell them what's happening, what the changes are, what's being changed, and it gives them the insight behind it which makes them feel that they can trust the management and they can become more loyal to them. So if it's unclear, then there's no drive, there's no motivation, and there's just the uncertainty and the anxiety. But with the trust and transparency, now there's that sense of relief. It's like a weight is taken off of their shoulders and they can understand what exactly is going on and they feel more included in the company rather than just working for them. It can reduce the resistance, like I said before, because there's no confusion and there's no anxiety behind it. So they know exactly what's happening, and if their role is changing with the company changes, then they can understand what is going on with their role, how their job is going to change. And then if they fully understand it, they're more willing to collaborate with each other so they can offer more useful ideas. They can identify problems early on rather than prolonging them or seeing them at the last minute before it's too late to make any changes. Um, Best practice followed. I mean, or what extent is this the best practice? Uh, it's improving modern workplaces. So they recognize the transparency and then the engagement within the company with the employees. So they follow the best practices that provide more consistency and more productivity. So if they feel that they're hearing about the changes too late, or if they don't understand the reasoning behind it, they feel left out. They feel like their opinions and their voices don't matter as much when they feel uninformed. The quality of the leadership, especially like communication, will decrease if it's not used properly. So, if they have the poor communication, employees are just constantly confused. The work actually diminishes because they don't understand the why. They're mainly only focused on the what is happening, what is going to take place, what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen to my job. And if they only have the partial explanations, that uncertainty is only going to continue. And it's only going to worsen. So the last prompt is promoting a communal culture compatible with promoting company diversity. The short answer would be yes. But to fully explain the why behind it, if it's done properly, there can actually be a shared sense of belonging. So the communal cultures, they emphasize a shared purpose and mutual support within the company, the departments. Um, it helps people from different backgrounds feel accepted and not like they're going to be a victim of stereotyping or discrimination. It encourages and increases inclusivity, especially within these environments, because they feel like they're being listened to, they feel like they're being heard, and they feel the support from their team and their colleagues, whether they work directly beside them or if they're in separate departments. Whenever you feel like you need help, you should feel like you have the support to ask questions and to get the help that you need. So it's a sense of value when you receive the help and the collaboration with colleagues from same departments or separate departments, it's a sense of respect and the support. There's a sense of safety. I mean, there's open communication, there's trust, and then there's respect. And if they feel like they can share ideas, then they feel that support and they don't feel like their ideas are going to get shot down or like they're not going to be listened to. If it's not done properly, it can be incompatible because if a sense of community says that everyone is the same or we all do things the same way or there's no way to like venture out of what you're strictly supposed to do, there's a sense of silence in a way. So there's no differences, there's no personality in a way, and there's no way to distinguish yourself because there's no individuality. So there's no unique perspectives that are being shown through new ideas or new ways, new solutions. There's exclusion if the norms of the organization are clearly defined in a way. So if the community is built around certain norms or certain expectations or values, then there's exclusion. So there's no sense of freedom, there's no sense of support, and there's no way for others to feel that they matter or their opinions matter. Do different cultures experience high power or low power distance in business as a reflection? Yeah, business power distance, it reflects a country's political government. So the relationship isn't absolute, but when they often reflect each other, there's shared cultural values, there's, different types of political systems that can influence the norms. Um, the socialization, it shows them firsthand what the power actually looks like. But if it's not perfect or automatic, there's a difference in the industries. So the different fields, they don't work together, they don't coincide with each other. And it can remain with a strict type of like governmental system. So they don't work together. They stick to their strict ones and there's no way for them to coincide. There's no way for them to collaborate, in other words. And then they can also reject the norms. So they might push for a specific norm rather than listening to the others of different industries. But that is my reflection and analysis. Thank you so much.